The stars were humming tonight. Soft threads of silver light poured through drifting clouds as a gentle wind whispered a melody older than dreams themselves. The forest below shimmered, alive with the hush of something waiting, something magical. Leaves shimmered like tiny mirrors, catching every glint of moonlight and folding it into secrets. The air smelled of lavender and rain, and every breath felt like a promise of calm. What if this forest knew the way to dreams? What if the wind could sing you to sleep? Deep within the silvery trees, a light flickered once, then twice, as if calling out to those who dared to listen. And in that glowing heartbeat, the forest began to wake. The forest felt alive, as if it breathed alongside the little wanderer. Every sound was a lullaby. Crickets, soft rustling leaves, the distant song of a night bird. The child's eyelids grew heavy, yet curiosity pulled stronger than sleep. The path ahead glowed faintly gold, curving like a smile beneath the trees. The wind brushed past gently, whispering a promise. Follow the light, and your dreams will find you. Somewhere far off, laughter echoed, soft and warm, like a hug turned into sound. As the path deepened, the air thickened with wonder. Trees arched high above like protectors, their roots humming gently beneath the earth. The forest whispered stories of children who had walked this way before. Dreamers, seekers, sleepers. Each leaf seemed to shimmer with unseen magic, filling the air with peace. The child paused by an ancient tree whose trunk glowed faintly with symbols of moons and stars. The forest sighed, and the symbols began to move. The forest began to sing. Soft voices, perhaps of trees, or perhaps of dreams, rose in harmony with the wind. The melody wrapped around the child like a blanket, soothing every thought. The glowing runes pulsed to the rhythm, and the world seemed to sway. Sleepiness came like a tide, slow and warm, lapping at the edges of waking. The child smiled, letting go of worries one by one, as the song lifted higher into the silver sky. The song faded, leaving only the soft heartbeat of the forest. The light doorway shimmered again, now closer, waiting. A single word echoed softly. Rest. The child took one step, then another, each slower and gentler than before. The world blurred into starlight and velvet mist. The last thing seen before drifting into dream was the forest bowing gently, as if tucking them in. The light doorway opened into a place that looked like morning caught in a dream. The sky shimmered in soft pinks and blues, though no sun could be seen. Petals drifted in the air like tiny feathers, glowing faintly as they fell. Everything smelled of honey and rain. The child blinked, realizing they had stepped into a garden that floated among clouds. Every flower here seemed alive. Some breathed, some hummed, some even whispered names. A calm voice brushed through the air, as smooth as lullaby silk. Welcome, little dreamer. You are safe here. From the heart of the garden a figure appeared, neither tall nor small, neither old nor young, cloaked in mist and moonlight. They carried a silver watering can that poured out stars instead of water. Wherever the starlight touched, the plants sighed happily and leaned toward it. Every dream needs watering, the voice said gently. The child watched, eyes sleepy with peace, as tiny plants shaped like hearts began to bloom and pulse with soft golden light. Would you like to plant your dream? The dreamkeeper asked. The child nodded, feeling warmth in their chest. They reached into their pocket and found a single silver seed glowing faintly, as if it had been waiting all along. When the seed touched the soil, the ground sparkled, and roots of light spiraled outward like golden threads. The dreamkeeper smiled. This will grow into your very own dream tree, little one. Every leaf will carry a piece of your peace. The child's heart fluttered like a soft drumbeat, part joy, part magic, all calm. As the tree began to grow, its trunk shimmered like glass filled with moonlight. Leaves unfolded one by one, each releasing a gentle sigh, as if the tree itself were dreaming. The garden's colors deepened to soft blues and violets, the air thick with calm. Around the child, the flowers hummed a tune so quiet and perfect that even the wind seemed to listen. "Every dream must grow slowly," said the dream keeper. "Just like rest." The child's eyes drooped. The world felt soft and far away. The dream keeper lifted their hand, and the garden filled with floating stars. Each one pulsed with a rhythm that matched the child's breathing. Slow, gentle, steady. "When you sleep," the dream keeper whispered, "these stars will guard your dreams." The air shimmered as hundreds of firefly-like stars circled the dream tree, weaving a blanket of light. The child smiled faintly, sinking into the softness beneath them, their heartbeat blending with the hush of the garden. Somewhere between waking and dreaming, peace wrapped around them like silk. When the child opened their eyes again, the garden had faded into a soft blue mist. The air shimmered, and a new sound filled the world. A low, steady rhythm, like a heartbeat turned into water. Ahead stretched a calm, glowing river, winding between floating stones. The water sparkled with tiny stars, each one pulsing gently in time with the child's breathing. A hush settled over everything. The dream keeper's voice returned, carried by the wind. "This is the river of rest. Follow its flow, and it will carry you deeper into peace." Each step onto the river stones felt lighter than air. The child's reflection shimmered below. Eyes wide, heart slow, face calm. The river moved like silk, folding and unfolding under the starlight. When a hand reached out to touch the surface, ripples spread across the water, turning into golden rings that sang softly. The sound was so gentle that even the sky seemed to sigh. For the first time, the child felt weightless, as if sleep had taken form around them. Warm, safe, and endless. As the river widened, shapes began to appear beneath the surface. Soft outlines of memories and dreams. A kite flying against a sunset. Laughter beneath a tree. A cozy blanket wrapped around a sleepy evening. The river held every happy thought the child had ever felt, glimmering quietly beneath their feet. The dream keeper's whisper drifted once more. "Dreams are made from the softest pieces of your heart. Let them guide you now." The child smiled, eyes heavy with calm. As the river carried them forward, the current grew slower, softer, almost still. The air smelled of mint and rain, and every breath felt like a lullaby. Fireflies hovered above the water, tracing sleepy circles in the air. The child lay down on the leaf raft, their body floating effortlessly. Overhead, clouds shaped like pillows drifted by, turning from silver to pink. The dream keeper's voice hummed through the river. "Rest is not the end. It's the bridge between your thoughts and your dreams." The words wrapped around the child like a warm blanket, and the stars above seemed to nod in agreement. The river finally ended in a gentle waterfall, but instead of falling down, the water poured upward into the stars. The raft glided toward it without fear. The air was filled with the sound of thousands of lullabies blending together, each note glowing like light. As the raft reached the shining curtain of water, the child's eyes fluttered closed. The river's voice whispered its final promise. "Wherever you drift next, peace will follow." The world turned to light, and the dream carried on. The waterfall of stars carried the child into a sky made of clouds and color. Slowly, the light faded, revealing an island that floated on the horizon. A place wrapped in soft, silver fog, glowing faintly from within. The air shimmered with tiny floating feathers that drifted like snow. A breeze sang a melody so calm it could hush the loudest storm. When the child stepped onto the island's shore, the ground felt like a pillow beneath their feet. All around, great trees of light rose gently into the sky, their branches heavy with glowing dreams waiting to be touched. As the child wandered deeper, the air filled with floating dream bubbles, each one showing a tiny, moving scene. Some held giggling stars, others whispered lullabies. The bubbles drifted lazily around, bumping softly against the child's hands and hair. When one brushed their cheek, warmth spread through their whole body like sunlight through morning curtains. Every bubble carried a peaceful memory, stories of comfort, laughter, and rest. The island seemed alive, its heartbeat matching the child's slow, sleepy rhythm. The trees began to hum again, their branches bending low as if greeting an old friend. Each leaf shimmered, and soft ribbons of golden dust drifted down. The child lifted a hand, catching a few grains as they sparkled and melted into the skin. "This is dream dust," whispered the wind, "the magic that turns thoughts into dreams." The child smiled faintly, eyes glowing with wonder. Around them the world slowed into stillness. Every sound hushed except the rhythmic pulse of peace flowing through the island. At the center of the island stood a lake so still it seemed to hold the sky itself. The child knelt beside it, staring into their reflection. Not quite awake, not quite asleep. The reflection smiled back, rippling gently. The water shimmered, showing scenes from faraway dreams, friends waving, stars winking, the gentle forest whispering once more. The child dipped a hand into the water, and the lake responded with light that flowed up their arm, wrapping them in quiet calm. "You've come far," murmured a voice that sounded like the forest itself. "Now, let your heart rest." The sky above the island deepened into midnight blue. One by one, the dream bubbles floated higher, turning into stars. The trees swayed gently, their lights fading to a soft glow, like candle flames ready to rest. The child lay down on the moss, head cradled by the earth itself. The wind's lullaby returned, slow, sweet, steady. Every muscle relaxed, every thought drifted away. The island breathed in time with the child's heartbeat. In that peaceful rhythm, sleep finally took hold, tender and complete. The air shimmered as the island began to drift apart into threads of light. Gently, the child floated upward, lifted by unseen hands. The world below softened into a glowing sea of stars, while above stretched a sky woven with ribbons of silk, pink, gold, and quiet blue. The child felt no fear, only calm, as if the sky itself had turned into a blanket. Every color moved in slow, sleepy waves, wrapping them in the warmth of peace. A soft hum surrounded everything, a song without words that spoke directly to the heart. The ribbons of light began to swirl slowly, forming shapes, gentle creatures made of dream silk. Some looked like glowing birds, others like sleepy whales drifting through the sky. They moved gracefully, humming in harmony with the soft sky song. One of the creatures, shaped like a great cloud bird, floated close to the child, its eyes glowing warm gold. It bent its head, inviting them to climb onto its back. Without a sound, the child did, and together they soared higher, deeper into the colors of dreams. The sky deepened into a river of night. Streams of silver light flowed above and below, turning everything into a soft mirror. The child reached out and their fingers brushed a passing star. It sang like a bell, releasing a wave of warmth that spread through their chest. "Every star is a dream that someone has loved," whispered the wind. The cloud bird glided gently onward, leaving trails of light that faded into sparkles. The child closed their eyes, feeling as if they were flying through the very heart of peace. Ahead, the sky curved into a great arch of shimmering silk, like a bridge between dreams. The cloud bird slowed its wings and hovered before it. The arch pulsed softly, glowing brighter with each heartbeat. "Beyond here lies the realm of deep sleep," the wind whispered. "Cross, and you will find true rest." The child took a deep breath, heart steady, eyes half-lidded with comfort. The bird leaned forward and glided through the arch, breaking it into 1,000 glowing petals that drifted gently behind them like blessings. The other side of the arch was endless calm, No sound, no worry, only a slow rhythm like the world breathing. The child floated free, eyes closed, wrapped in a cocoon of light, every color melted into one, soft as moonlight. In that silence, the child heard their own heartbeat whispering, "You are safe. You are loved. You can rest." The sky's light dimmed to a deep, gentle blue. The stars faded to faint glimmers, and the world became soft enough to dream within forever. The silence of the sky began to shimmer once more. From the calm, small golden feathers drifted down, glowing softly like falling wishes. They spiraled slowly around the sleeping child, each carrying a tiny whisper. The whispers spoke of kindness, of courage, of hearts that shine even in the dark. The feathers gathered, forming a warm blanket over the child. The air filled with gentle laughter, not loud, but quiet and sweet, like the sound of friends waiting in dreams. A sense of deep safety wrapped around everything, making the child's soul glow like starlight. The feathers began to shine brighter, painting pictures in the air. Each image floated softly. Children sharing smiles, animals resting together, stars lighting paths for lost wanderers. The child watched, heart full, as the pictures moved like a gentle movie of kindness. "Every dream," whispered the wind, "carries a lesson. Yours is to remember that gentleness is strength." The golden light pulsed in time with the child's heartbeat, calm and steady, filling the air with the warmth of care. From the heart of the light, a small bird appeared, made entirely of golden feathers, its eyes like tiny suns. It perched near the child and sang a melody that sounded like home. Every note shimmered through the air, weaving dreams together. The bird fluttered closer and brushed its wing against the child's cheek. "When you wake," it seemed to say, "remember this warmth. It will guide you when you're unsure." The song grew softer, slower, and the feathers followed its rhythm, swirling gently like golden snow. The golden bird rose higher, circling the child in slow, graceful loops. Each turn released more feathers that floated upward like lanterns. The air thickened with shimmer, the kind that lives between wakefulness and dreams. The child reached up, catching one last feather between their fingers. It glowed warmly, then dissolved into soft sparkles that sank into their heart. The bird sang one last note, a single perfect sound that made the sky tremble with beauty. Then it vanished into the stars, leaving peace behind. The feathers drifted away, fading into soft starlight. The air stilled again, holding only the quiet pulse of rest. The child floated gently downward, carried by invisible waves of warmth. The deep blue sky softened into shades of lavender and rose, signaling the slow arrival of dawn. As the world grew brighter, the child's body felt heavier, grounded in peace. The voice of the forest returned, distant yet loving. "You have wandered far, little dreamer. Now come home." The light around the child folded inward, carrying them gently back toward the waking world. Soft light bloomed at the edge of the dream, turning the air into a gentle sunrise. The stars faded one by one, bowing to the coming day. The child drifted downward, wrapped in ribbons of silver mist that glowed faintly pink. Beneath them, the familiar trees of the magical forest came into view, their leaves glittering with dew. Birds began to sing, first one, then many, each note blending perfectly with the rhythm of breathing. The child's eyes fluttered open, not startled, but calm, their body floating in the sweet hush between dream and waking. The forest looked different in the light of morning, gentler, warmer, full of quiet joy. Every petal, every blade of grass seemed to hum with the memory of dreams. The brook from the night before still shimmered faintly, its water carrying golden ripples where the child's lantern had once glowed. A single butterfly fluttered past, its wings shining softly, as if still holding the glow of the dream world. The child smiled, breathing deeply, feeling peace settle into every corner of their heart. The breeze carried whispers from the trees, soft, almost words, reminding the child that magic never truly ends. "Every time you rest will be here," the wind murmured. The child closed their eyes for a moment, listening to the rhythm of the forest, the rustle of leaves, the gentle murmur of the brook, the song of the birds. It was all the same melody they had heard in the dream, only now it was real. A gentle shiver of wonder passed through them, half memory, half promise. The child began to walk along the forest path, now bright and welcoming. Each step felt light, as though the earth itself was cheering softly beneath their feet. Flowers turned their heads as they passed, and small animals peeked from their burrows to watch. The same golden doorway that had led them into the dream still shimmered faintly ahead. But this time it opened not into the unknown, but into the warm glow of morning. The child paused, taking one last look at the trees that had sung them to sleep. With a deep breath and a sleepy smile, the child stepped through the light. The forest faded behind them, leaving only warmth and the soft echo of lullabies in their heart. When their eyes opened again, they were safe and still in their cozy bed, morning sunlight spilling gently across the sheets. The room was quiet, except for birds outside, and the slow, steady rhythm of breathing. The dream had ended, but its peace remained. Somewhere far away, the forest whispered one final word: rest. And so the morning began, soft, golden, and full of calm.